Good evening, everyone. We have a very exciting program ahead today. I'm Catherine Zhang, and I'm a second-year law student.
And I'm Sabrina Fonti, a first year at Wharton. Catherine and I are two of the 16 fellows in the Lippman Family Prize program.
And what an absolute pleasure it is to be here this evening among such an inspiring group of individuals.
And what a stunning gathering it is, Catherine. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and esteemed members of the Lippman Family Prize program, welcome to this very special evening.
Tonight, we're not just celebrating achievements. We're celebrating the embodiment of leadership, impact, innovation, and solutions that address some of the most pressing social challenges of our time.
That's right, and what makes this evening even more special is that we've had the chance to help select these innovative solutions in these amazing organizations.
We've had the chance to learn about the incredible dedication and hard work that each of these organizations have invested in their projects over the years.
And let me tell you, it's been nothing short of inspirational. The dedication, the determination, and the creativity of these teams really embody the true spirit of the Lippman Family Prize program.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an exciting evening ahead. And to kick off tonight's program, we're delighted to introduce a very special guest. Uria Min is the director of the Lippman Family Prize program and serves as a champion of change.
Uria's dedication and strategic leadership have helped the Lippman Family Prize program grow into the highly impactful program it is today. We're so thankful to have her here with us, so let's all give a warm welcome to Uria.
Thank you, Sabrina and Catherine. Good evening, everyone. It is truly my pleasure to see each and every one of you here tonight, brimming with anticipation and enthusiasm for this special occasion. This community is one I really look forward to celebrating with every year. Tonight, we're joined by esteemed members of the Lippman Family Prize selection and steering and prize committees, diligent application reviewers, past prize winners and applicants who continue to inspire us with their work, invaluable partners from across the University of Pennsylvania who share our excitement for the prize and its impact, as well as cherished friends, family, alumni, and community leaders. Despite our diverse origins, hailing from different workplaces, geographies, backgrounds, and areas of expertise, we are united by a common dedication to driving social impact. You've already had the pleasure of meeting two of our outstanding Lippman Fellows from this past year, and I'm thrilled that you'll get a chance to hear from two more later in the program, Brennan and Daida. Our fellows bring a wealth of interdisciplinary perspectives to the Lippman Family Prize due diligence process, drawn from across the university's university spectrum. Representing 8 distinct graduate and professional schools, they are united in their pursuit of social impact. I would like to take this moment to acknowledge them, as well as our fellowship coordinators, Nicole and Melissa, for their unwavering dedication and commitment to learning and supporting the Lippman Family Prize community all year. Fellows, please stand so that we can give you all a well-deserved round of applause. At the heart of the Lippman Family Prize is a profound appreciation for innovation-driven leadership. We honor those who not only envision a better world, but actively pioneer new approaches, technologies, and methodologies to bring about transformation. Our winners turn cutting-edge ideas into tangible realities, sparking a ripple effect of change that touches lives and communities far and wide. Behind every groundbreaking idea lies a team of diverse talents, perspectives, and expertise, united by a shared commitment to the mission. No individual human can create lasting change on their own. That's why, as a prize, we recognize, award, and support whole organizations. Yet we also know what a difference a founder can make, and how often it begins with just one innovative idea, or one social entrepreneur who sees a vision for what is possible and has the boldness to act. Sometimes it's only in hindsight that we recognize the moment when that tiny mustard seed idea came to be. Sometimes it comes in the form of waking up in the middle of the night with the idea to call your alma mater to explore the potential for a philanthropic prize housed within a university. Perhaps for some here, your mustard seed idea is taking form as we speak. To kick off our evening, I'm excited for all of us to hear from one such entrepreneur and how he was able to make his idea a reality. Many in the audience know CareMessage was a 2015 Lippman Family Prize winner who then went on to receive the distinct recognition of being one of our 2020 Beacon Award winners, our follow-on prize of $250,000 each for 2 past Lippman Family Prize winners. When we first met CareMessage in 2015, they were working with a handful of federally qualified health centers and serving about 300,000 patients on their platform. Today, CareMessage is the largest patient engagement platform for underserved populations in the United States, helping to improve health equity for nearly 7 million underserved patients at over 400 safety net organizations. They have demonstrated how effective communication can improve the health outcomes for low-income patients while simultaneously decreasing healthcare costs by improving the efficiency of healthcare providers. It is my great honor to introduce our keynote speaker, co-founder and CEO of CareMessage. Please welcome back to our Lippman Family Prize stage, Vineet Singhal.
All right, that was very kind, but I'm going to talk about some fun times in the history of CareMessage. The 3 times that we almost ran out of money. First time was a year into the development of the organization. I had no idea how to budget. I had no idea how to read a balance sheet. And so I went to the only person that I thought could help me, which was my board chair. And I went down to his office in Portola Valley, California, and asked him for money. And he got up from his chair, and he wrote a $25,000 check, which was like manna from heaven at that point. And I went outside to the Wells Fargo ATM and deposited that check right then and there, because I knew that I didn't want to give him time to change his mind. Second time that we almost ran out of money was a couple of years later when we had our regular board meeting, and I did not know that you're supposed to tell your board what's going on. I thought your board was just somebody you needed to impress. And so the board basically looked at our financials and was like, yeah, you're going to probably run out of money in 6 weeks. And so I basically flew to every city with people that I knew that could potentially donate to CareMessage in 2014. And within 6 months, we had raised over $6 million. The third time that we ran out of money was in February of 2020. This was interesting because this is when our sales and marketing spend had outgrown. We were a much mature organization then, and it had outgrown the expenses or the revenue that that organization was bringing in. I think something happened that was interesting in March of 2020 that we all remember. Overnight, we pivoted the organization entirely to focusing on a once-in-a-century pandemic. And through that process, we helped facilitate over 100 million text messages between clinics and their patients around vaccinations, testing, social distancing, a number of really important areas of helping be a part of serving the communities that were most impacted by COVID-19. So I share these examples with the recognition that CareMessage would not exist without the help of so many incredible people that have helped us along the way, including the Lippmans, Barry and Marie. Thank you. I was fortunate to be a student representative to the Board of Trustees at Stanford, where I went to undergrad, where I met some great people that became supporters and donors to CareMessage. I got to meet some amazing people through that network, like Dr. Roy Vagelos, who has funded a number of initiatives here at Penn and is a major supporter of CareMessage. We got to meet institutions like Google.org, Johnson & Johnson, Blackstone, KKR, Sanofi, and many others that have supported our work over the last several years and have enabled Care Message to raise over $40 million in support of our mission. I remember our first ever partner, St. Anthony's Medical Clinic in the Tenderloin District in San Francisco. The clinic director, Zeke, was the biggest skeptic of Care Message that I've ever met in my life, who said, "This is never going to work. Our patients don't have phones. You are doing something that I don't think is going to work, and you should probably quit." But it was now our biggest champion, and I still remember getting his email several years ago when he said, "I can't believe the reduction in no-show rates that we have seen in our mammography van that provides mammograms to women in the Tenderloin District in San Francisco." And those rates have gone from no-show rates have gone from 50% to below 5%. And Zeke is now our biggest champion. We just had a luncheon that our team hosted in San Francisco earlier, where he was speaking and was selling Care Message without our sales team having to sell Care Message. Care Message now has 400 plus paying customers, including 1 in every 7 community health centers in the United States, 1 in every 8 free and charitable clinics in the United States, and growing every single week. And then most recently, we have partnered with the Indian Health Service to provide Care Message to tribal health clinics in California and Michigan, and they are now, this year, expanding Care Message access to tribal clinics in the Pacific Northwest. What started as an idea from 13 patients at a free medical clinic in the Tenderloin, the handful of messages is now serving over 7 million patients and has facilitated over 400 million messages and about 100 million messages every single year. So I want to congratulate the 3 winners of the Lipman Family Prize: Food for Education, Seecology, and Simprints. First of all, just great work, and I've read about the work you're doing, and you're really tackling some important problems with some innovative solutions. My biggest piece of advice, if you are even asking for it, which maybe you're not, but just keep going, right? You will have moments where you'll want to give up, right? You will have moments where things will seem daunting or you'll want to quit. And it's hard, right? But just keep going. Just keep going. The universe works in various ways that I don't really understand, but somehow ends up working out. Just don't quit, because the work you're doing is too important, and the problems you're working on are too important to stop working on them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vinit, for your lovely speech. Good evening, everyone. My name is Daira Natalia Poes Gamboa, and I'm currently doing a Master of Public Administration at Penn.
Yeah, my name is Brendan Burnett, and I'm a first-year MBA student at the Wharton School. And we are very excited to also represent the Lipman Family Prize Fellows and to introduce all of you to our 3 Lipman Family Prize winners this year. They were selected from 132 organizations from around the world. These winners are tackling a variety of pressing challenges, including hunger among school children, island vegetation conservation, and data measurement in developing countries. They operate across Africa and on islands around the world. Collectively, these organizations have impacted millions of people worldwide. They feed over 100,000 school children daily, protected over 1.4 million marine and terrestrial acres, and gathered essential individualized data on over 2 million people in need. So we have with us tonight the executive leaders from each organization to share some more about their work.
It's an absolute pleasure for me to introduce our first winner, Food for Education. Hunger is the largest solvable issue facing African children. 90% of African children do not have an acceptable diet, and 50% do not eat at recommended frequencies. This issue has negative effect on hungry children. Lower school attendance, less learning, less progression to the next grade, health problems, and more. Food for Education aims for every child in Kenya to have an affordable and nutritious school meal every day. The resolution involved hub and spoke, a centralized cooking model that can drive a school feeding industry. Food for Education feeds around 300,000 children daily and has had an average 21% increase in school enrollment. Without further ado, please welcome Wawira Giroux to the stage.
Food is transformative. This thing that can heal your body, that gives you strength, the ability to function as a human being. It's really important that kids are getting the right nutrition so that they're able to stay in school and be able to fulfill their potential. My name is Wawira. I am the founder of Food for Education. I had a great childhood, but I was also surrounded by need. Kids were hungry, they didn't have access to meals, they were running away from school. The solution to that was a school feeding program. You never forget your home, you never forget the place that you grew up in. And if you have an opportunity to give back and to make it better, you jump on it. The first kitchen that we opened was for just 25 children. Now we have central kitchens that produce from 10,000 to 60,000 meals every single day. On top of the meals that we provided is the systems that we've built and the jobs that we've created. We have an incredible team that put in so many hours to ensure that each child gets their hot, nutritious meal every single day.
My name is Lydia Aoko Odhiambo. Niko 32 years. Mimi ni mzazi, niko na watoto watatu. Wana feed na Food for Education. Sasa mimi napenda hii kazi yangu, kwanza niseme ni kazi yangu juu mimi ndio tunapika hiyo chakula iko poa kabisa ya Food for Education.
Food comes from the farms. It's grown with a lot of love and care.
It gives me such comfort as a farmer that I know I'm actually feeding children and I'm not using a broker. So that's a comfort every farmer needs.
Our ambition is to provide many more children with nutritious meals every single day. Right now, we're providing around 1 million meals every single week, and are looking to scale that to 1 million meals a day in Kenya and across the continent. And we hope to achieve that ambition in the next 5 to 6 years.
Thank you so much. I hope you can all hear me. I am so honored and excited to be here today with leaders from Psychology and Stimprints who are doing extraordinary work in the world. I'm also so grateful to be here with all of you who are doing incredible work and the fellows. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Lipman family, Barry and Marie, for recognizing the power of school feeding. Thank you for understanding how providing a child with one nutritious meal every single day can change a generation of systemic poverty. Thank you for elevating our work at Food for Education with the esteemed Lipman Family Prize. Now, this award is extremely important to me, and not just as the CEO of Food for Education, which I'm proud to say is the largest locally led school feeding program in Africa, but as Wawira, the little girl from a small town called Ruiru in Kenya, who, because of two parents who believed in the power of education to transform lives, never once suffered the indignity of hunger. I didn't grow up rich, but my life was full. And because I wasn't hungry, my potential was limitless. And this is fundamentally why I'm standing in front of all of you today. but my story is impossible for millions of Africa's children who arrive at school every day to face the sobering reality of hunger. Hunger is a scourge that swallows their future by limiting their physical, cognitive, and social emotional capacity. Now, school feeding programs, the most widespread social safety net in the world, is the answer to this problem. Globally, there are proven and effective solutions to classroom hunger right here in the US, but also in emerging markets like Brazil and India. In fact, there is a significantly high return on investment, with every dollar invested returning $20 through human capital and local economy. Of all the children who eat in the world, school meals, only 13% are in Africa. Now, back home, school feeding programs typically depend on foreign agencies that rely on bulk processed foods, and they don't consider the local communities or supply chains that they serve. Long term, this approach just hasn't been and isn't sustainable. But there's good news. While hunger may be one of the biggest challenges facing African children, it is also solvable. And we know this because we're doing it right now. We went from feeding 25 kids to feeding 300,000 every single day with a piping hot, delicious, and nutritious meal. These meals provide essential nutrients children need to grow, containing rice, lentils, beans, and vegetables. Now, that's a long way from where we started 12 years ago. And today, thanks to our trifecta partnerships of parents, philanthropists like the Lipman Prize, and government, we are seeing a 30% increase in attendance and retention in schools where we work, and at least 20% increase in test scores among those kids who get a meal every single day. The impact we're having is generational. Feeding these kids their wildest dreams and our collective future has been the hardest, but most fulfilling journey of my life. So thank you again. It's people like you who recognize and support our work that allow us to continue reaching more and more children with a blueprint of school feeding in Africa. On behalf of the children we serve, on behalf of our board and our amazing staff, I am so grateful to accept the Lipman Family Prize today.
Thank you, Wawida Jiru, for all that you do to provide meals to school children through Food for Education. I'd like to introduce you all to our second winner organization, and that is Seacology. Most rare, unique species of animals and plants in this world are found on islands. But tragically, islands also bear the brunt of climate change, with over 50% of all known extinctions having occurred on islands. But Seacology provides islands with a unique but highly beneficial arrangement. If an island community is willing to protect their natural area, Seacology will partner with them on a project that will benefit the entire community. This could mean a new school, or it could also mean clean energy generation for the island. For instance, in Fiji, the Wailevu village committed to protecting thousands of acres of ecosystem, and in exchange, Seacology built a durable community center that functioned both as a school as well as a storm shelter when needed. They have worked with villages on over 68 islands on more than 400 projects. So we now would like to invite to the stage a Seacology Executive Director, Dwayne Silverstein.
Islands are the ultimate biological hotspots. It's no accident that Charles Darwin discovered evolution by going to the Galapagos Islands. In some islands, 30% of the plant species are found nowhere else in the world. Right now, so many species are going extinct that future generations will be unable to tell the difference between our epoch and an asteroid hit in terms of mass extinction. So islands are sort of the front lines in fighting extinction.
Seacology approaches island villagers and any island throughout the world and asks them what tangible thing they would like in return for setting aside a marine or forest reserve. And when I say tangible thing, I mean a school, a community center, solar heating system, a freshwater delivery system, something like that. And so it's just a fair and square deal. It's not charity, it's just a deal. You say this and we'll give you that. And the idea, like a lot of brilliant ideas, is so simple that it just dawned on all of us really at the same time, why don't we make this internationally? It works in Samoa, where Paul started it. Why wouldn't it work in Fiji, in Tonga, in Madagascar? And in fact, it has. We've done it over and over and over again.
Seacology likes to work within the parameters of each individual village's culture. These are the people who could be potentially the biggest threat, but also the biggest hope for any protected environment. So a lot of other organizations or government programs usually go from the top down. It trickles down to the bottom, but then it kind of peters out. And a lot of the times the local people have nothing to do with the protected area. And as a result, there's no ownership, there's no feeling of responsibility, or even any knowledge of, what they're supposed to be protecting.
I thank the Seacology group for stepping in and trying to prevent our resources from being devastated. They come up with the idea of allocating a particular place to be reserved, marine reserve, and for the goodwill of that, they build a kindergarten. So thank you to the Seacology group.
We have shown that this model works in different geographies, different cultures, different religions, because it's based on goodwill, trust, and person-to-person communication, and that's the power of Seacology.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank Barry and Marie Lipman for creating this very inspirational and exciting prize. I would briefly like to talk about just some of the aspects that make Seacology unique. We'll start with the crisis that we are addressing. As you've seen from that video, more than 50% of all the extinctions in recorded history of the Earth have taken place on islands. But it's way more than 50% for lizards and reptiles, etc., and birds. It's 88 to 90%. And let me just share 2 or 3 anecdotes to bring this to home. First is in the United States, we have one island state, and that is Hawaii. It takes up 0.2% of our landmass, but in the history of this country, it has been the home to 72% of all species extinctions. Second anecdote is Lord Howe Island. This is a small island in the Coral Sea between Australia and New Zealand. In the last 400 years, it has had more bird species and subspecies extinctions than Africa, Asia, and Europe combined. And for these and many other reasons, a biologist at the Smithsonian Institution has said that the extinction rate on islands is the biggest environmental catastrophe in the history of our planet. And that bears repeating. The extinction rate on islands is the biggest environmental catastrophe in the history of our planet. Second way we're unique is how we do what we do. And as you saw from the video and you heard from the speakers, that we do these win-win deals. We approach an island village or vice versa and ask them what do they need, what tangible thing do they need. And they will often say a kindergarten or a freshwater delivery system, solar energy or something like that. Let me start by saying, believe it or not, it's very unique that we even ask the local people what they want, because most Western organizations tell them what they think they want, which is just completely wrong. And anyway, We've had, as you heard, launched over 400 projects in 68 countries, all of which put the lie to that fable that it's either the economy or the environment. It's just not true. We have shown over and over and over again that both the quality of life and the environment can benefit at the same time. The third and final difference that I just want to speak about tonight is, is how we are organized. The eyes and ears of Seacology are our field representatives located on islands around the world. They're local people, they know the local cultures, they speak the local languages. And, and they work part-time on a contract out of their own homes. We never saw the need to have offices around the world. We'd much prefer to have the money that we are fortunate to comes our way to go to the local communities and the local environments rather than to Seacology. And this continues to work really well, and I'm very, very proud to say, and please pay attention, anybody here from the Wharton School, that we started this model of relying on part-time contractors working out of their homes 2 years before a startup unknown at the time called Uber decided to do the same thing with their drivers. So I think we have any intellectual copyright attorneys in the audience? There is, though, one difference between Seacology's field reps and Uber's drivers. Our field reps love their job, and there is essentially no turnover in the 25 years I've been there, and it's one of the many reasons why Seacology was picked by an independent employment agency as being one of the 10 best nonprofits to work for in the United States out of the million-plus nonprofits here. So again, I want to thank the Lipman family and all of you for coming here to support this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dwayne, for your lovely speech. Now it's time to introduce our third winner, St. Prince. Let's consider this tragedy that often happens in impoverished areas. A mother dies in childbirth. Prenatal checkups could have caught the problem and prevented her death, but she never received them because her need was not identified. St. Prince can save lives such as hers by providing a powerful tool to identify patients instantly, finding the right record with the tap of the finger. Since 2013, St. Prince's mission has been to transform the way the world fights poverty. St. Prince biometric ID tools integrate into mobile tools and workflow. As of 2022, St. Prince had 2.1 million cumulative beneficiaries. Without more to add, I would like to invite Toby Norman to the stage.
Because there isn't a consistent way of identifying patients, it's very difficult to track whether this particular patient has received this dose of vaccine. Let's assume that the mother has not been registered at all. What will happen is that their records will be taken on the e-tracker platform. And then in addition to taking their biodata, their fingerprints would also be collected.
what I saw here is going to help us a lot, because sometimes you have to take book along, sometimes your book, maybe the book got missing. So I'm impressed. I'm very happy about the new process.
Another very good functionality about the tracker is the fact that it allows clients who cross geographical locations. So let's say a client moves from one facility to another facility within the same district, or let's say across regions. If tracker is deployed in all of these facilities, it's easier to search for the client and then continue with the service. And in that way, it helps to improve on the continuity of care.
Thank you. I remember a moment in 2012. As a young global health researcher, I was sitting in a clinic in Bangladesh studying maternal child healthcare programs. And it was a hot day, hot afternoon. I was transcribing data, sweat dripping down my back, all the way down my shirt. And I remember looking at the logbook in front of me and feeling two feelings. The first was guilt that we seem to have lost so many mothers in this maternal health care program, and we didn't know where. We didn't know why. We just saw the numbers were coming down. The follow-up was weak. People were falling out of essential care. We know they'd show up in the statistics later of maternal mortality, but we weren't sure where we had lost them. And the second feeling I felt was shame as I transcribed that data, sensing in my heart of hearts that a lot of the records I was looking at weren't true. The data wasn't accurate for a bunch of difficult, thorny, but real reasons in the field of global health, in a space that incentivizes us to over-report our impact, to inflate our claims of what we've achieved and what we haven't achieved. I didn't have the maturity or the leadership or the courage at that point in time to do anything, and so I didn't. And I still regret that to this day. I was lucky, very lucky, about 2 years later that I met co-founders and friends and colleagues and champions who started to give me the courage to grapple with the thorny complexity of this problem, because it wasn't unique to that clinic. It's a giant challenge that still affects way too many people in the world. About 850 million people today are born without any formal identity. They're unregistered in the eyes of their governments. And when we look at our ability to actually track and deliver programs, there's huge gaps between the numbers we tell ourselves, the stories we tell ourselves, and the reality. By some estimates, about $1 in $3 spent on global health or humanitarian aid is never getting to the people it's supposed to get to. And I'm only a Harvard grad, but my finance friends at Wharton tell me that that's a pretty big number, and it's something we should care about. I've been blessed working with Simprints and a phenomenal group of co-founders, teammates, champions, supporters, funders, and others who are grappling with that challenge, trying to figure out, is there a way that we can take technology, the same tools that all of us today have used, a dozen times, if you're me, maybe 100 times to unlock your smartphone, checking emails or Instagram or whatever it is, to verify the delivery of essential services, whether it's maternal health care or vaccines or humanitarian aid. We've been on a journey to do that. We've made a lot of mistakes, but we're working hard to get there. This year, for the first time ever, we're going to be supporting the rollouts of the new malaria vaccine, a breakthrough in public health. And we're going to be talking about 11 million doses to children all across Ghana. It's one of the most exciting things we've ever done. That wouldn't happen without those people, without the work that they're doing, trying to solve a fundamental and a difficult, and let's be honest, it's a difficult and thorny challenge in our space, but it's a challenge that's worth solving. I want to say 3 thank yous. First, to the Lippmans. It's easy in this world to step back and not engage, and I can tell very clearly by the community that's here that you haven't chosen to do that, so thank you. I want to say thank you to the peer social entrepreneurs in the room. Dwayne, the work you do is amazing, And it is so hard, and after this ceremony, you're going to go back and you're going to go right back to that work. And I know how tough it is, and I have nothing but respect for what you do. And I want to thank everyone else here who champions social impact, social enterprises, and the fight for a more just and a more equitable world. Because as tempting as it might be to be disillusioned or to be frustrated or say it doesn't work or it's not possible, you're not making that choice, and the world across so many causes that we've talked about tonight needs more people like you. So thank you very much for doing that. It's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Wow, what an incredible lineup of winners we have here tonight. Their dedication, innovation, and impact are truly inspiring.
And let's not forget to acknowledge the generosity of the Lippman family. Without their support, neither the prize nor the fellowship program would be possible.
We owe a huge debt of gratitude to Barry and Marie Lippman for their vision and commitment to driving positive social change in the world.
So now to share some of his thoughts with us, let's all welcome Barry Lippman.
Well, it's great to see many of you here again on actually my favorite night of the year. So thank you all for coming, and for all of those of you who keep coming. Thank you for that introduction. I appreciate that. I am continuously impressed by the commitment and integrity our fellows show for the Lippman Prize, and we are so grateful for your involvement. It is a testament also to the integrity of the McNulty Leadership Program at Wharton, and Urea in Tunisia in particular, as each year excellent selections for the fellows are made. Last year, I don't know if any of you remember, the ones that were here, last year I ended my remarks by asking everyone to think about how we could think small but dream big. Start small but dream big, I'm sorry. I'd like to return to that sentiment a little bit. I'm reminded of an article I recently read in Forbes magazine about how the distinction between success and failure often boils down to 6 words. Successful founders think big, start small, learn fast. Put quite simply, organizations that don't do this often fail. They may think big, but perhaps they start too big. Maybe they start small, but they also learn too slowly. The article focused on nonprofit companies, but this refrain equally applies to nonprofit organizations. Our 2024 winners are the successful founders mentioned in that Forbes article. As Urea alluded to in the beginning of the program, often organizations with one founder or team having one unique idea. Think about this. 8 years ago, one university student had a vision and started small. And now Food for Education is serving 300,000 students a day and on track to serve 1 million children daily by 2027. 34 years ago, a missionary turned botanist had an idea while working with a village in Samoa. And now Seecology's projects are in over 68 countries, they preserve cultures, and they fight climate change, and they protect over 1.4 million acres of islands worldwide, while concurrently facilitating needed social services. 12 years ago, a pair of university students attended a hackathon, whatever a hackathon is, and went on to create Simprints, a technological marvel that is on track to improve healthcare for, catch this, over 700 million people worldwide. This is exactly what we mean when we say think big, start small, and learn fast. And now each of the organizations thrive in their respective fields, and we couldn't be prouder to recognize them tonight. Each of our winners embody an altruistic ethos that encourages them to do what they do well and grow their respective sectors and geographic footprints, rather than purely grow by expansion of their businesses. This is true thoughtful leadership. The work our 2024 winners do is do is changing lives and making an impact around the world. They perfectly embody the prize's mission we set out to accomplish 13 years ago, to recognize and support solutions that work. It's the purest form of doing good simply for good's sake. You may ask, or maybe you don't ask, how can I do that? Well, it could be as simple as volunteering at your local food bank or homeless shelter, being a good Samaritan to a neighbor in need, or finding something you're passionate about and giving back to that cause merely for the sake of wanting others to experience the same passion. I've been lucky enough to do all these things, in addition to creating the Lippman Family Prize at the university I attended and where I knew the prize would thrive and foster. Look how far we've grown in 13 short years. Our growing Lippman community is now 39 organizations involving a multitude of social problems and over 170 fellows strong. I consider it a testament that many of those past winners and alumni fellows are here tonight, and I hope I can connect with you later during the reception. But first, I would like to bring up my wife and partner, Marie, to the stage so that we can announce the grand prize winner. As we celebrate the achievements of our winners, past and present, let us continue to dream big, start small, and learn fast. Thank you very much.
The 2024
Grand
prize winner is Seacology. Congratulations.
Again, of course, I want to thank Barry and Marie and the entire Lippman family. I feel, and I hope I'm speaking on behalf of Toby and Wawira, that I'm part of the Lippman family now, at least the Lippman family of prize winners, so thank you for that. I want to share this honor with the other two recipients. As Toby and Wawira said earlier, very eloquently, sometimes this is not easy work. And that we will be back on Monday, in my case, or whatever, in the office, banging away, doing what we can do. And it is not often that we get honored like this, to be honest. So this is a wonderful, wonderful occasion. But again, I want to just share this recognition with two wonderful organizations and thank them for the terrific work that they are doing. A few more quick thanks. I want to thank the Lippman Prize staff, the unsung heroes of tonight. They are absolutely fantastic and a pleasure to deal with. I want to thank my wife, Marcia Stewart, for her support over the years. And I want to thank all of you again for coming and lending your support. But again, thank you so much, Barry and Marie. Really appreciate this.
What an electrifying moment. Congratulations to our grand prize winner and to all of the organizations who have been honored here tonight.
Each one of them has shown exceptional dedication and commitment to making the world a better place.
And now, as we near the end of this extraordinary evening, we have one final but very special guest.
Our next speaker is Dean Erica James. She's been the Dean of Wharton since 2020. Prior to that, she was trained as an organizational psychologist, and she has expertise in strategic management, crisis management, and workplace diversity. So let's all give her a warm welcome, everyone.
Thank you. Good evening. It has great feedback. It is lovely to be here. This is my 4th consecutive year having the opportunity to engage with Barry and Marie, and seeing the great work of our social entrepreneurs is one of the highlights of my time as Dean of the Wharton School, so thank you. It is wonderful to be here again in celebration of such extraordinary and exemplary nonprofit organizations. You all are truly, truly remarkable. Your demonstration of leadership and innovation is inspiring, and the Wharton School is honored to welcome such changemakers into this exceptional Lippman Family Prize community. I'm additionally proud that Wharton and Penn can facilitate this prize by providing support and resources to welcome these impressive organizations into our broader Penn community. The Lippman Family Prize and the Lippman Fellows Program honors our founder, Joseph Wharton, whose vision to advance society by creating economic opportunity for all people. We have a unique responsibility as the world's most preeminent business school to positively impact society through business education, and our Lippman Family Prize honorees are the perfect embodiment of those values. With an interdisciplinary approach and global perspectives, our winners tonight are tackling childhood hunger, ecosystem preservation, and global poverty. We could not be prouder to shine a light on the diverse missions each organization demonstrating a strong commitment to making a positive difference. Finally, I would like to express, as many of you already have, our deepest gratitude to Barry and Marie Lippman for their continued generosity to our university. They truly understand the value and importance in recognizing and in supporting such organizations, and in so doing, reinforce Wharton's mission to develop business leaders who are not only successful, but also socially responsible and committed to creating a more sustainable and equitable world. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Dean James, for those inspiring words. Tonight, we've witnessed remarkable stories of leadership, innovation, impact. From our prize winners to our esteemed guests, we're reminded of the power of determination and collaboration in solving some of the toughest challenges in our world.
As we come to the end of this program, we'd like to express our deepest gratitude to all of you for being with us tonight, and a special thank you to Barry and Marie Lippman for making this all possible. Thank you.
And now we want to invite everyone to make their way upstairs for dinner.
Remember, there's no assigned seating, so take this as a chance to meet fellow attendees, and have a great rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.